Welcome to the latest live edition of Last Bowl Boxing, proudly sponsored by LW Liftings and SC Travel. Bit of a mixed bag tonight, lads. There's not a massive card on in the UK this weekend, so there's been some big cards announced though this week, so we're going to talk through them. But there's only one place to start, guys, and that is Jonas against Mayer's fight card, scorecard, I should say. Right, so I'll read out the scorecards and then we'll go round and have a discussion about, well, whether you agree or whether you think it was daylight robbery or what. So, Diana Mellini scored the fight 97-93 to Michaela Mayer. Frank Lombardi scored the fight 96-94 to Natasha Jonas, and Michael Alexander scored the fight 96-95 to Natasha Jonas. Darren, I'll come to you first, mate.
Yeah.
Firstly, what a fight.
Yeah, very good, yeah. Really enjoyable fight.
I mean, are we talking contender for fight of the year already? And we're not even out of January.
Well, it's definitely back and forth, that's for sure. As regards the scorecards, what you was on about just, I actually didn't watch the fight live. I was at a party, so I come home, caught up with it. And I'd actually already seen a few people saying about robbery and that. So I thought, I'll watch it, see what I thought. I didn't see it the first time I watched it. What everyone was saying about it was a robbery. So I watched it back again a couple of days later to see what I thought about it. And I think Maya probably nicked it, but I think a draw could have been a good call. But I don't see the robbery that people are saying. I personally don't see that. I don't think Tasha won, but I think it could have been a draw or the odd round or two to Maya. Nothing like, I've seen people saying, screaming it's a robbery. For me, it wasn't a robbery. Robberies for me are, where someone's comfortably won, 6 rounds easily, 6 rounds up. But I didn't see it like that.
Like a Sandy Ryan Jessica McCaskill fight, that was an absolute robbery.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, something like that. Whereas I didn't see this one like that. I saw it the odd round to Michaela Mayer, but I think a draw could have been a good result. Probably the fair.
Yeah,
result,
so I have to agree with you, mate. It definitely wasn't daylight robbery. It was a very back and forth fight. Before I give you before I move on, mate, how did you actually score the fight?
I think I had it a couple of rounds to Maya.
Right.
That was when I watched it back the second time, and I tried to be neutral and watch it how I saw it, but I think some of the rounds were nip and tuck where Tasha could have got them, where people were giving them to Maya. I don't think it was like I say, a robbery like the fight you was on about, but I didn't see this one like that. But some people are calling it a daylight robbery, and I don't see it like that.
I agree.
I can.
I had it 6 rounds to 4 for Mayer at ringside, but could easily have been a draw. So I agree with Darren's state of the fight.
Interestingly, Hakan, have you got any idea which judge was on your side of the room?
No, but I think the 97 to 93 was at the side, the Mayer side, and when they announced the scorecards, I thought when they first announced 97, 93, I was pretty sure that Tasha won it. They usually announce the fighter who lose the fight first.
Yeah,
it was the same at MSG on Taylor Serrano. They announced first the Serrano card. So I was pretty sure that Tasha won the fight when I heard the first scorecard.
Can you think of any reason that the way the fight panned out, I mean, the way I looked at it, the way I saw the fight was a lot of pressure and a lot more shots thrown from Michaela Mayer, but the cleaner work and the crisper work and probably the more eye-catching shots came from Natasha Jonas. Now, she was constantly on the back foot the whole fight, which it's easy to think that a fighter is winning a fight because they're on the front foot. And that isn't always the case. I think it was in this case, but it isn't always the case. I mean, I can forgive a slight swing in judges when you're talking about 2-minute rounds and the rounds are action-packed the way this fight was. Sometimes it's very difficult to score. So when you got 3 judges on 3 different sides of the ring, it's easy for one of the judges to miss a couple of shots if they're blindsided. So, I mean, but we're talking about a big swing here. You know, one of the judges scoring it by 4 rounds, one of them scoring it by 2, and one of them scoring it by 1. So there's a big swing. 2 of the judges got it almost identical to Jonas, which is quite surprising. Daz, how did you see it?
I thought Mayer won, mate, to be fair. I'm getting it by... First time I watched it a couple, then I watched it... What
did I just see?
What was that? What?
Carry on, mate. Carry on.
What happened? Did I miss? What did I miss?
I think Akan needs to put a pair of trousers on.
Well, he's got his pants on. Nice. Showing his Swedish meatballs off his hair.
Carry on, Daz.
Listen, come on. Did you ever watch Eurotrash when you were young? You know what these Europeans
I can. This is a PG-rated show, mate.
You know what them Europeans are like. Come on.
Carry on.
I had it a couple for Mayer. And then I watched it again, I had it 3 for Mayer. Then I watched it again, I had it a couple again. So I'll probably go with that. A couple of rounds to Mayer. Like Darren said earlier, it weren't a robbery at all. It weren't, it weren't a total rip-off. It weren't, I saw budgie smugglers then. Akan, you might want to position your camera a bit different. We're all friends here, aren't we? It was never a robbery in a million years, never. But I thought Mayer won. I thought she was hard done too. I thought she won the Baumgardner fight more clearly than she won this.
I agree with that. Yeah,
she's been a bit unfortunate here again. Listen, I didn't think that she'd perform that well. I obviously, the weight was a worry to me. But obviously she's done it right. She made the weight right. She's grown into the weight. And she looked good. I think.
Sorry, mate. I thought she looked very, very, very strong at the weight.
Yeah, she did, mate. Yeah,
I mean, what do you make of what was said at the end of the fight? Because apparently, Mayer wanted this to be a 3-minute round fight.
Mate, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen in women's boxing anytime soon. You might get the
Jonas has, Jonas has said she'd be happy to do it, but it's obviously she wants paid more for it.
Yeah, but then IBF are going to turn around and say, "Well, we're not doing that."
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, but I think it's I've said it before, mate. It's too big a jump for me from 10-2s to 12-3s. Go to 12-2s.
I agree.
I agree with that.
I would like to see 12-2s.
Go to 12-2s. Don't go from 10-2s to 12-3s. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's it's a crazy jump. Go to 12-2s. That's fine.
The thing is, as well, we're all talking about what a great fight it was. For me, that fight with 12 threes would not be nowhere near as entertaining as what we'd seen.
No, listen, I don't think any female fight, the ones that we've seen that were absolute classics, like Taylor Serrano, I'm sure there's been other. Listen,
Chantel Cameron Taylor, first one.
Yeah, Chantel Cameron Taylor. Listen, Nick was in a great fight with Emma Dolan. That action packed. Them fights would not have been like that had there been 12 threes.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
you know what I mean. It just wouldn't happen. It's just listen. I'd welcome 12 twos. I really would. I think 12 twos would be good because
I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with it at all. You make a very valid point because it wouldn't be as entertaining for the obvious reasons that, I mean, how many fights that are 3-minute rounds in male boxing are toe to toe for 3 minutes for 12 rounds? It doesn't happen.
Very rare. Very rare.
Very rare. And apart from the really low weights, you don't see it. You just don't see it because it's almost an impossible thing to be doing. You're going to get lulls in fights, but to me, that sort of thing kind of makes fights in a way because it's strategy then, and it's not necessarily all out. I know what you're saying that it perhaps wouldn't be quite as entertaining, but fighters have got to think a bit more.
It's not that, but listen, I think fighters, 12 twos, mate. Strategy still comes into it. It's not a sprint. Even 10 twos, mate. They have to think about it. There's still a strategy. Yeah, there'd be more in 3-minute rounds, but then you can go and say, well, if there were 4-minute rounds, there'd be even more. It's just for me, 12 twos. I'm not totally saying that they can't go 12 threes at some point, but I just think going from 10 twos to 12 threes is just too big a jump. Let's go 12 twos first.
Welcome, Jack. How are you, mate?
Well, better now. I've solved a problem, so that's fine.
Okay, do you want to tell us about that?
Well, I can do. It was just a fight for a prospect called Robbie Coleman. I was just trying to find him an opponent, but it's all signed off now, and it's up on BoxRec, and he's boxing March the 16th.
Oh, nice one. Okay, cool, great stuff. Right, so we're talking about Natasha Jonas, Michaela Mayer scorecards. Give us. I've gone to everyone else. Give us your breakdown of what you thought about the way the fight was scored.
I thought it was a very close fight. I actually had Mayer losing. I'm one of the few that did. I gave it to Jonas by a round, but I mean, I think that part of me is in the back of my mind realized it. When I was doing that, I think part of me in the back of my mind realized she would get it because it was Liverpool if it was close, and I think that might have played into my mind. I'll admit that, but I don't agree with all the people calling robbery. Like, it's not a robbery. It's a close fight. Like, I do agree with what you were saying about the 2-3-minute rounds, by the way. I'm with Daz. I'd actually like to see 12 twos first. I quite like the 2-minute rounds, but I'd like to see 12 because I don't really understand 10. I've never understood that. There's probably some scientist that's going to be able to tell me why that's a thing, but until somebody does, I'm just going to say we should have 12 twos.
Daz, what do you make of Joe Gallagher coming out and saying that Michaela Mayer didn't get the nod because she didn't rip the title away from Natasha Jonas?
Do you want me a politically correct answer, or do you want me?
No, I want your honest answer, mate.
Or do you want me boxing coach's answer that if my fighters?
Yeah, mate, I want you straight,
mate. If my fighter wins the fight by 1 round, they win the fight.
Yeah,
simple. this you've got to go and rip the title away is absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. It's like, listen, you win a fight, you win a fight. You know, what if you're going into a fight, right, where let's say, you know, you're in a 12 rounder, you're losing 6, what? You know, what? I mean, help me out with maths here, I'm tired. Do you know what I mean? If you're, you know, you've lost first 6 rounds and then you've won next 5. You know, and then I don't know, somebody scores that last round different way and you end up losing by a round. Fair dues.
Yeah.
But if it's the other way around, if you win the last 6, but someone scores the last round not for you and you lose, you know, obviously that's a close fight. But on consensus is that if you win that last round, then you should get a draw. You know, or if it's the other way around, you're almost level going into, or it's nip and tuck. That's where it comes down to the fact that it's what judges see, innit? You know, it's what judges see. You know, it's what they like and, you know, what they score. So, but way Joe said it is, you've got to basically knock somebody out to win a title.
Pretty much.
Or you've pretty much got to win every round.
Yeah. Which shouldn't be right, should it? That's not right.
That doesn't happen with world-class fight. 2 world-class fighters, that doesn't happen.
No, it's going to be a close fight, isn't it?
Very, very rare that happens.
And you've got to hope that the judges score the fight correctly. I mean, there is the consensus is that Maya won the fight by a couple of rounds. Some people are saying that she won it by more than that. Other people are saying that she won it by the odd one. Other people are saying a draw.
Jack just said that he had Jonas by a round, and I don't think any of us would look at Jack and go, "Well, that's crazy."
No, because it's not crazy. Because it's kind of what you like sometimes, isn't it?
It's a close fight.
I was aware I was in the minority, but it was a close fight, and there was a couple of rounds where you could have gone the other way.
Yeah, it were a close fight. You know, just because I think a lot of it is, a lot of people tipped Maya to win. And when she didn't win,
I mean,
like, oh,
this all being said, lads, this is 2 major fights now where Michaela Mayer's not got the nod in fights that the majority of people think she's won. The first one against Baumgardner went on to become undisputed. Now, so you could be talking about Mayer being an undisputed champion at 1 weight and then becoming a 2-weight world champion now. It's a massive difference to her legacy in her career, isn't it?
I think Mayer's stock's risen, though, in this.
Yeah.
I think she's going to be, you know, she's going to be champion. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if she don't move down to light welter. I know she performed well at welter. I won't be surprised if she don't, you know, if she don't bob down to light welter. But there's also, where I won't be surprised if she don't get offered the winner of Harper and Ryan. If I'm honest. Yeah,
potentially. Darren, if you're Michaela Mayer's team, if you're her manager, you're her promoter, is she still with Top Rank, by the way?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So if you're Top Rank and you've seen those two results when your fighters clearly won the first fight and more than likely won the second fight, are you going to be thinking twice about sending her over to the UK again?
Well,
I know this is obviously where female boxing's at.
Yeah, but like you say, both of them being in the UK, you would be like starting thinking very reluctant. But the good thing is, Lise Mayer has said straight away, "I'd love to have a rematch." Okay, she's upset by the decision, but she said straight away, the fight deserves a rematch. It was close. Let's go to it. So, you know, if she gets offered that rematch, she'll gladly take it.
I agree. Absolutely. Hakan, from the Tessa Jonas's answer in that post-fight interview, Do you think that the rematch is going to happen, or do you think she'll go elsewhere?
She goes elsewhere. I said in the interview with Steve Spivak what I thought, and I thought this fight was signed, but and I got intel for a week ago that the fight was signed, but I didn't tell anyone. I got it from Gamma that the fight was signed last week. So I think the winner will face Michaela Mayer or McCaskill.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
I've got a bit of a theory on the McCaskill one.
And
I think she will fight someone on Sky, but I can't say who because there is a reason I know. But she will fight a boxer fighter, but I don't think it'll be Mayer. It'll be on Sky. Mayer.
And Lauren Price is next on the line on the IBF ranking.
Yeah, see, that's interesting because Lauren Price obviously wants to fight against Natasha Jonas. Jonas is making a lot of noise that this is the last year of a pro career, which you can understand. I think is she 36 or 38?
37, is she?
No, she's 39.
Okay, somewhere. Oh, is she? Okay. Well, she's somewhere around that anyway. So she's had a great career, and you can't blame her for wanting to go out on, firstly, a high, secondly, on the best wages she can get. Is Lauren Price going to get the best wages she can get, or does she need to be going and getting a massive name?
She's got to go with Mayer again, mate, for me.
Yeah,
I think so as well, Daz, but I don't think that'll happen.
I mean, to be honest, mate, if that doesn't happen, that doesn't make Tasha and Joe Gallagher look great, does it?
No, probably not. If the public cry out for it, then it might. There's a good chance it'll happen because obviously everyone will want to watch it again. I just think that they're looking to. I mean, Joe Gallagher's already said he wants Katie Taylor for a second fight.
I mean, Katie Taylor's like, yeah, I mean, super light, going up again. What about winner of Harper Ryan?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a massive fight, isn't it?
But I mean, Ryan, if it's Harper, won't happen. Which I think.
It's a shame. It's a shame, isn't it, Jack? But it seems that way that fight's never going to happen again.
The only way that fight ever happens, that ever would have happened again, would have been if Tom Stalker was still managing Tasha, because he could have been almost the neutral voice in the three there. But because Joe now manages and trains Tasha, and Steffi, I don't know. I think Steffi manages Terry as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
And trains Terry.
You don't think, though, this is a classic case of managers and trainers putting, themselves over fighters?
I think they've got a big influence, Daz. But there's a big saying in there that if the two fighters really, really want it, the fight will get made.
Yeah, should.
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that either of them. And I'm not blaming either of the fighters. I'm not convinced that either of them are that bothered. I think they're quite happy on the path they're on.
Yeah.
I don't believe the whole if the fight won it thing. And that because I know of fights where it's quite obvious the fighters won it, but they'll never happen because the managers wouldn't get in the same room as each other. Never mind.
If that is the case, Jack, that's sad for the potential fight because it is huge. Probably the biggest fight for the pair of them, in my opinion, because of what happened in the first fight.
What happens normally in those sort of situations is you bring in a neutral negotiator. It's happened a few times to get fights over the line. And to be honest, to an extent, it's happened to Fury Usyk. I mean, all right, we don't put the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia into every negotiation, although that might not be a bad idea for people.
Jack, Can you please address him properly, His Excellency?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Right, lads. I think
never fight on his shows. What's he going to do me in, innit?
I think we've covered that topic quite well. Let's move on to something that's come up this week. A fight card that's been made this week, and that's Dalton Smith, Jose Cepeda. This is an absolutely brilliant fight. It's a brilliant card. Right, we'll go straight in with Hakan because I know Hakan, you're already looking at hotels for this card, aren't you?
Yes, I have booked a hotel from Thursday at Leonardo Hotel. So 3 nights in Sheffield it will be.
Is he ever at home?
Great. Great fight. Great fight. Great card. Darren, first thoughts on Dalton Smith, Jose Cepeda?
Yeah, I think it's a good fight. It's a very, very good step up for me. I know some people. I did see a few moaners on Twitter saying, they expected a different fight. I mean, there was always like the domestic fights where there was always the Harlem Eubanks and things talked about. But I think I'm very happy with this fight. I think it's a very good step up. Should be exciting fight as well.
Yes, and I'm very happy with the price point for this show. The same price point as Dalton Smith, Sam Maxwell in July. So I think it's very good.
Yeah, it's good.
How much is that ringside then, Hakan?
200.
It's very good. It is a very good price, isn't it?
Yeah, 200 with no fees if you purchase through fighters.
So I haven't heard anything about what this fight is for. Is it an eliminator? Does anybody know?
I don't think so.
It might be because Cepeda's ranked highly with the WBO, but I don't know if Smith is.
I mean, surely you wouldn't bring Cepeda over in this kind of fight unless there was something on the line. I'm not saying it has to be a final eliminator.
I think Cepeda's 2 or 3 with the WBO, so you might just bring him over just because if you beat him, you get almost. You might not get his ranking, but you'll get a top 5 from beating him.
Yeah, it's a very good fight.
I actually think Cepeda will beat him. I hate to say that because I always like to back the Brits, but I've got horrible feelings Cepeda's just a big step up.
It is. I was going to say, Jack, it is a step up for Dalton Smith. Cepeda is middle. So Cepeda has got a lot of experience, as we all know. He's been in with the very best, and he's only lost to the very best. He's only lost to Jose Ramirez in 2019, Regis Prograis in 22, and Richard Hitchens last year. So he's been in with very, very good company. That's gonna stand him in a lot of stead during the fight. But believe me, the Smith camp are not taking this fight if they don't think they can win it. Dalton Smith has spent far too long at the British level, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You can understand him being proud of holding that title, and so he should be because it's brilliant. But he needs that step up now. I think this is a perfect fight. It's very dangerous though. Daz, put your trainer's cap on, mate. Firstly, your thoughts on them picking Jose Cepeda?
It's a step up. It's going to give us a good indication of where Dalton is, I think.
Yep.
There's a bit of danger to it because Cepeda can punch. But I think Dalton Smith's a world-class fighter, and I think he's going to show it. I think he's really. I mean, he's in a tough division.
He's in a very tough division. I mean, but he needs this test to prove to himself, if anything, that he's at that level, right?
Yeah, of course he does, and this is what it is. It's going to be, and if he gets through this, which I think he will, I think then it's going to be another test. On. and that's how it should be. But
I mean, there's not many more levels after Jose Zepeda, in my opinion. You know, he's knocking on world titles after this. And once you've been at this level, it's difficult to go back into it.
yeah, you shouldn't have to, really, should you? I mean,
no. The expectation. What I mean is, though, guys, the expectation. If you're beating Jose Zepeda, the expectation is the next fight's got to be number 1 or number 2 ranked in the world, behind the world champion, and then it's a world title fight, surely.
Yeah, in an ideal world, mate, definitely.
Right. So there's obviously another absolutely massive fight on this card, and the reason Hakan will be going to the fight, I'm sure.
Yes, it
Sandy
is,
Ryan. Sandy Ryan, Terry Harper, Hakan. I know that you've bought your ringside ticket from Terry Harper, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm pre-ordered ringside through Terry.
I know you've done that a couple of times, and I mean, me and Daz talked to you about this off camera, but it's an absolute brilliant thing that you're doing. The amount of fights that you're coming over to in the UK, supporting British fighters, buying tickets off of British fighters. I think it's brilliant, Hakan. You deserve a lot of credit for doing that. Obviously, you built a bit of a You built a bit of a rapport up now. Go on, sorry.
The reason for that with Terry was in Dublin when it was cancelled against Cecilia Brackhouse. I stayed at the same hotel as Terry's friends and got the connection with her friends. And I will meet them again at the weigh-in in Sheffield.
Oh, nice one. So, seeing as though we talk, you're talking about it. Let's get your breakdown of how you think the fight goes, mate. This is obviously for Sandy Ryan's WBO welterweight title. Terry Harper's stepping down a weight for this fight. If she wins a title like this makes her a 3-weight world champion, which is amazing. Sandy Ryan, on the other hand, has got a brand new coaching team. She's no longer with One Nation out of Derby. No longer with Clifton Mitchell. I think she's trained by an American now. I'm not sure who it is. But obviously
she has been in the US for a while now.
She has. Yeah. That obviously puts a different slant on the fight because you don't really know what this new coach is going to bring for Sandy Ryan. So Hakan, break the fight down for me.
I think it's going to be a very even fight, and of course I'm Team Harper here, but it could easily go the other way around. It's a very even fight. So, but I think welterweight could be better for Terry than super welter was. I think that Terry was a little bit too small for super welter, and I think that she now will do the welterweight, and maybe later she will vacate the WBA super welter title.
Okay, that makes sense.
If you listen to the podcast, she was in the Matchroom podcast today for about 10-15 minutes, and you could listen to that, and it looks like Terry will now go down, not just for this fight, for future fights too at welter.
Right, okay, cool. Jack?
So if you go back to the super welter, I think Cecilia Brackhouse could get her chance now for that title.
Right, yeah, potentially, yeah. Jack, break down the fight for me. How do you think it pans out?
I actually don't. I think Terry's done really well with what she's done, but I can't see Sandy losing this. I just in my head I just think Sandy Harper's so Sandy Ryan's so like so different style of fighter to anything Terry's sort of boxed against before. I just think she's natural at the weight. I think she's probably. I can see her winning a points decision. I don't particularly think. I don't think Terry's going to get absolutely like outclassed, but I do think it's going to be quite wide because I think Sandy's just going to steal rounds.
Right.
And I still want to watch it. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that
just give me 2 minutes, guys. I've just got something to do.
Okay, mate.
I think, Sandy will probably. I can see it being fairly wide because I think she'll just steal rounds.
If it will be fairly wide, do you think Terry go back to the super welter?
I think that's a conversation for her and Steffi to have if she does lose this fight. I mean, does she keep her belts at super welter? That's the question. If she keeps her belts at super welter, maybe.
She does for right now, yeah.
No, as in like, so sometimes if you lose at a different weight, they strip you. So it depends. If they didn't strip her of her belts at the weight above, then yeah, I could see her going back.
I mean, I don't think that's on the cards, Jack, unless she's being asked to defend against a mandatory, which I don't think is the case.
The WBO.
Then she's under no pressure. She's under no pressure to defend the super welter title. I don't think so. This is just an opportunity for her.
The WBO strip male fighters for it a lot. Who was it? There was someone went up. Oh, Ricky, but it was Ricky Burns. When Ricky Burns went up, he lost at the weight above, and they stripped him of the belt at the weight below, just for losing.
Right.
It's part of their super status, so that they can challenge for any title.
Okay.
So if you're a super champion with the WBO, you have the rights to, like, theoretically, and not that this will ever happen, but the WBO cruiserweight champion could go up and declare themselves mandatory for Usyk. But when they do that, but when they do that, if they lose to Usyk, they lose the cruiserweight title as well. So I think.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I think that might be what Terry's done to get this fight allowed and stuff. And if she's done that, then she would lose at least the WBO belt.
Well, let's see how that pans out.
But I mean, she hasn't lost yet, so I'm not I wasn't looking into it that much. But yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. It would very much depend how. I think it would depend, Hakan, on the manner of how the result was. If it was really wide and she didn't look competitive at the weight, maybe she'll go back up. If she was to lose and it was a close decision, then no, she'll probably stay down because it is a more natural weight for her.
Hakan, you was just about to say something then.
No, I'm just listening to Jack.
Okay.
In this fight, and I've seen a lot of
Darren
on Twitter that they are favoring Sandy Ryan for this fight.
Darren, how are you seeing it?
I actually agree with Hakan. I think it'd be a pretty close fight, but I'd probably edge towards Terry Harper winning it. I think the experience will probably get her the victory in the end. I think, obviously, Sandy Ryan did beat McCaskill. I don't particularly rate McCaskill that highly, to be honest. So I just think Terry Harper, for the opponent she's had already in her career, I think that'll get her over the line. I mean, I always look at Sandy Ryan as though she's younger than Terry Harper, but she's actually older than her. So I was going to say about the age thing. I didn't realise.
Yeah, I always forget that.
Yeah. I always think the other way around. But yeah, Terry Harper's actually I think Terry Harper's 27 and Sandy Ryan's 30. But yeah, I think Terry Harper, for the opponent she's had in the past, I think the experience will do her well in this fight, and I think it'll be probably a close points decision. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I can't see anybody running away with the fight. They're both too skilled. Daz, let's see your breakdown, mate.
Sandy Ryan, points. Fairly easy as well, I think.
You think it'd be fairly easy, quite a wide points decision, do you?
I'm not saying it's going to be an easy fight. I think she'll probably win by 4 or 5 rounds, to be fair. Yeah,
wow, okay.
Listen, you know I rate Sandy. You know I do.
Yeah.
I think me and Daz are on pretty similar wavelengths. That Sandy's going to nick rounds.
Yeah, Sandy's...
I rate guys. I rate Sandy Ryan, and I have done for.
I like them
both.
both.
Daz, sorry.
You know what I mean? I like them both. They're really,
so do I.
And credit to them both for doing this. But yeah, I just think Sandy's the best welterweight in the world. So I have to stick
right
to
now.
that.
I'd probably agree with you.
I mean, it is my take on it. What happened to Sandy Ryan against Jessica McCaskill was absolute daylight robbery.
Oh,
the fact that there's not been an outcry for that to be an automatic rematch is disgraceful. I mean, if I was Sandy Ryan, I'd be looking at my promoter and going, "What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, definitely.
Why is this not been forced through?" Everybody in the whole of boxing. Everybody in the whole of boxing. I've not seen a single person apart from Jessica McCaskill's coach that thinks that she won that fight. She didn't even think she won the fight. You look at her face. You look at her face when the scorecards are read out. She didn't think she won that fight. And straight away afterwards, she said she would give Sandy Ryan a rematch, automatic rematch, because she was felt guilty for the result. But obviously, that's not materialised because really, truth be known, she don't want any part of Sandy Ryan again. So you got to give Terry Harper a lot of credit for taking this fight. Sandy Ryan would have been looking for a massive fight to come back to because obviously the disappointment of not getting the rematch with McCaskill. She wanted a massive fight. Terry Harper stepped in. It's a good opportunity for Terry Harper, obviously, because it gives her the opportunity to become a 3-weight world champion, which is massive for her legacy. It's a very, very good fight. I said a while back, I think Terry Harper is very, very strong at these high weights. Very strong. And she's improved a lot as a fighter, in my opinion, as well. But I have to edge. My opinion is I have to edge towards Sandy Ryan. I think Sandy Ryan is outstanding. A shot selection, a pressure, a footwork, a body shots, they're brilliant. And I agree with Daz. I think she's the best welterweight in the world. It's going to be a close fight, though. I don't see a walk around victory for Sandy Ryan at all. I think Terry Harper wins rounds. I think she puts pressure on. It's going to be one of those. It's going to be who buckles first, I think. They're both forward thinking fighters, and it's going to be an absolute barnstorm. I think we're going to get another fight like last weekend, where we're saying fight of the year contender here, outstanding fight. I'm just edging towards Sandy Ryan at the minute. My only doubt is whether the change of coach, the change of scenery and team, whether that affects Sandy Ryan at all. But you're not going to know that until the fight happens. These things happen. These things can happen. You can get a completely different fighter because a new coach brings in different aspects, different thoughts, different training methods, and a fighter can sometimes get stuck between two styles. Not saying that's going to happen because I don't know anything about who she's gone to, what they're doing, whether they're changing anything, whether they're just adding to what she already has. I'm a bit disappointed to see that she's left One Nation. I got to be honest. I thought that was a great team. There was clear chemistry there. Who knows what's happened? Only the team and Sandy know what's happened there and why that partnership's finished. But I mean, great fight, and you've got to give credit to both girls for taking this opportunity. It's massive and could very easily steal fight of the night. Right, moving on to the second fight card that was announced in the week. Another brilliant fight. Jordan Gill, Zelfa Barrett. This fight is scheduled for April the 13th. I'll come to Daz. I'll come to you first. I mean, Jordan Gill's. It's like he's got a second lease of life, isn't it?
Yeah,
he was.
It is. Yeah.
You know, he was kind of forgotten about. He was a fighter that everyone was thinking his career was done. He moves up. He moves up to. He looks like an absolute beast.
Yeah, I missed that. You went quiet. Say again.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. He looks like an absolute. He looks like an absolute beast at this weight. Interesting, complete clash of styles. This Zelfa Barrett is obviously very, very, very good footwork, back foot fighter, very slick. Jordan Gill kind of is a bit seek and destroy. Very, very, very strong hands, very heavy hands. Daz, break the fight down for me, mate.
It's an interesting fight, mate. It's a good one as well for me.
Yeah, it is.
It is a good. It's a good clash of styles. You know, Jordan's obviously coming off that win against Conlon, which I think I predicted right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good fight. Zelfa's a quality operator himself.
He is
very, very slick, very skillful. Be interesting, you know, if Jordan catches him, how he reacts to that. Will the power bother him? Could it be another Lee Wood type win for Jordan Gill? Could he be losing rounds and then just pull something out of the bag? You know,
you think he's going to drop rounds early then with Barrett's slick skills?
Hey, honestly, I don't know. It's one of them. It intrigues me. It could be. It could drop rounds and Zelfa could carry on winning rounds, and that's that. Jordan, you know, I don't know, mate. You have to ask yourself: Would Zelfa, if he went on the back foot, would he just be able to pick shots and keep away from him for 12? Is that, you know, would he not be tired after 8, 9 doing that? So would that not sort of play into Jordan's hands? But then if Zelfa stands his ground a bit more, is that not playing into Jordan's hands a little bit? You know, it's an interesting fight, mate. It really is. 2 quality fighters. And, you know, I'm interested to watch it. If you ask me for a prediction now, I would probably say, ask me closer to the time, but at this minute, I would probably say that Jordan's could stop him around 9 or 10 after losing.
Right, okay.
After losing majority at rounds.
Right. Jack.
Yeah.
Zelfa Barrett's level's gone up, hasn't it? Everyone's thinking highly of him after the Rakimov performance. Even though he lost that fight, he looked really, really good until he got caught. I mean, is there a possibility? Oh,
yeah.
You're back, Jack. Is there a possibility? Is there a possibility that you get a similar sort of fight play out where Barrett's kind of winning early rounds and he runs a little bit out of steam at the end?
Funny enough, I'm actually going to predict that because I've got a funny feeling, much similar to Daz, about the 9th or 10th round. I think he's going to not gas, but like his speed's going to slow down a little bit, and I think Gill's going to catch him. Funny and pretty much what happened was losing the fight, and then he produced that knockout. I think this is the same thing. I think that Jordan will catch him late on, but be losing the fight, and then it just becomes does Zelfa get up, or does catch him flush, and this fight ends by a spectacular knockout that Jordan can play on his highlight reel at the end of his retirement.
Darren, this is apparently a final eliminator. Jordan's obviously he's rejuvenated his career with that win over Michael Conlan. Quite rightly so, because it was devastating. I mean, this is a really good matchup, right?
Yeah, really good fight. The only thing for me with this really, like I rate Zalfa Barrett. I think he's like very slick operator, and for me, like with Jordan Gill beating Michael Conlan last time, I don't know whether it's flat. No, I don't like to put him down. But I don't know if it's flattered him a little bit because Michael Conlan was on the downward spiral. Like great win, but as it sort of led people into a bit of a false sense of security because Conlan was that bad. Like that's the only question mark for me. And Jordan Gill, like he isn't a massive puncher for me. Like, you know, if you look at his record, I think he's got something like 9 KOs on his record. He's not a monster puncher. And I've always found Michael Conlan a bit thinner. So I think that's the thing that I'm looking at, thinking I think Zalfa Barrett can outbox him, stay out of the way. But people are saying about Jordan Gill and he, a stoppage in that. I don't really think he's a massive puncher. So
I actually disagree. Darren, I think Jordan Gill is a big puncher. I think he's killed himself to make. Yeah, I do. I think he's a big puncher. I think he's killed himself to make the weight. He's killed himself to make featherweight. And I think this extra little bit of weight that he's not having to drain himself is making a massive difference. I think you might see Jordan Gill go on and be devastating. He's got to land the shot first. That's the thing.
I think Lee's
Zalfa Barrett.
Lee's actually very hard, don't he?
Say that again, Daz.
His mate Lee Wood. He's actually said Jordan hits very hard.
Yeah, he has. I mean, Zalfa Barrett is very slick, so Jordan's got to land first and foremost.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting fight. I love it because of the clash of styles. Hakan, how do you see this one, mate?
I see Jordan Gill KO later rounds, like you do. But I'm a bit curious about AO Arena for this one.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to mention that.
I
mean, how many
see it sell 6,000. So not even the lower tier will be sold out.
Well, I actually saw an interview with Frank Smith. I think it was on IFL yesterday. He said about that. Yeah, he actually said about he's heard the feedback about the arena at the AO Arena, and I think it's a 19 or 21,000 arena. He said it doesn't always have to be in a small arena. It doesn't have to, but he said if we sell 5,000 to 6,000 to 7,000 tickets, that's a good sell. But over half the arena empty. So,
and
why have they? So that beggars the question, guys. Why have they taken it there?
He said arenas he'd been offered like 1,000 and 2,000. It does more than that, and he said, well, he basically said it's the arena that's available.
Also, normally and I'm only speaking from a tiny bit of experience that I had working with a particular promoter who booked arenas. To get arenas, you have to almost book them. So you're booking in January. You're booking sort of November, December time for fights in flipping April.
Yeah. So what you're saying there, Jack? What you're saying is essentially, Jack, is they're booking the arena space to make sure that nobody else takes it for, say, concerts.
Yeah.
And then they're building fights around those arena dates.
Yeah, basically. I mean, you look in Newcastle, right? Half the time when that's 10,000. Half the time we get arena shows, and the show won't fill the arena, but it's because they've booked the arena, assuming Ritson would box on that day, or assuming Kelly will box on that day, and if they don't, you've just got a 10,000 seater arena for a show that probably sells 3,000 tickets.
The thing is, I think the IO Arena. I think something like.
The thing is, it's quite a way off yet. There's a good chance that you're going to get.
I was going to say the IO Arena, the bottom tier. I think it holds something like 9,000, something like that. I mean, even if you get 6,000 in there, it's still quite a lot of empty seats for the lower tier, really. So I don't know. They're going to have to stack the undercard.
I was about to say, mate, there's plenty of time to add some big fights onto this card if need be.
Yeah.
Well, put it this way, it's easy enough to get a ticket if we want one.
Okay, guys. Moving on to another fight on this card, world title fight. Rhiannon Dixon, Karen.
Carabao.
I think it's pronounced.
It's Carabao.
Okay. So this is obviously for the vacant WBO lightweight title, which was vacated by Katie Taylor not so long ago. Interesting this because Rhiannon Dixon was ordered to fight Caroline Dubois for the vacant IBF. And they've decided to take her a different route, and they've decided to take her for the vacant WBO title. Daz, me and you had a bit of a conversation about this in the week when this fight got announced, and I think we're both of the same opinion that the reason they've taken this route, it's not necessarily to avoid Caroline Dubois, but if Rhiannon Dixon wins this WBO title, and Caroline Dubois wins the IBF, it makes a massive unification fight, right?
Yeah, of course it does. And I think that's why they're doing it. I think it's a case Rhiannon picks this title up and Caroline will fight somebody for that vacant IBF. And then it's a unification.
Caroline's likely to fight the Brazilian girl, isn't she?
Which one?
Oh, her name escapes me at the minute. It'll come back to me. She's actually ranked. Weirdly, she was ranked above Dixon, but then the IBF switched them round in the rankings, and so now she's just ended up fighting the girl she would have been fighting originally.
Okay, that makes sense.
I knew that this was the route they were going last week, and it actually makes a lot of sense. I think it is exactly what you two said. I think they've done it for that reason, to do the unification. I think you could find that somewhere down the line that ends up on because there's still talk about them having female fights on Saudi cards and stuff, and it wouldn't surprise me if Dubois and Dixon ends up being one of those fights.
Potentially. I mean, Dubois is obviously a boxer fighter.
Yeah, I know, but they want people with the sort of squeaky clean kind of image. There's certain fighters they're not going to, both male and female, they're not going to put on unless they're either stupid money or they've
Who's that then, Jack?
We're not going there.
Who won't be put on in Saudi then? Just out of interest, mate. Who do you think?
You know exactly what. You were the one who said it.
No, go on.
The beans.
They're not gonna. They won't put on. Who was it? They said they won't put. There was a couple that have been thing. They've already said they wouldn't have shields on. So that's one. And then Bridges would probably be one, but that's the one you were expecting me to say.
Why wouldn't you have Ebony on?
Jack.
You know, because of all the weigh-in stuff, and you know what? Because we don't want assassinations by His Excellency on live TV.
I'm glad you've addressed him in the right, respectful way.
Yeah,
Jack.
and let's be honest, it would do good numbers, an assassination on live TV, but we'll not go there. But yeah, I mean, there's just an image thing, and I think if they're going to do a female fight, that might be one of the ones they do. If they're willing to work with Boxer, because I mean, there's not many boxers.
Can I get
Jack,
in?
Sorry, Akan, before you come in, mate, let me just say this then. Don't put female fighters on inside there. If you're not going to allow them to be themselves, don't put the fights on.
I don't say I agree with it. I'm just saying that that's kind of the gist of what I've kind of been led to believe is going to be a thing. And
I'm sorry, Jack. They can't have it always. They either want to embrace boxing or they don't.
It's a bit. It's like it makes me laugh a little bit because if you actually look at like a weigh-in of Ebony's Bridges, yeah, she wears lingerie.
It's no different to anyone else's weigh-in.
No, but then look at some of these girls that weigh in these sports thongs and sports bras, and Ebony's probably
no different.
Ebony's probably more covered up than them, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, some of the outfits.
Yeah. I agree, Dad.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just a little bit people jumping on that bandwagon saying, oh, you know, doing that, he's making a mockery. Well, hang on. Well, let's make them all wear tracksuits to weigh in then.
But it's not. This isn't. I mean, I know Jack's pointed out Ebony, but it's not. It's not just Ebony. No female fighter will be allowed to weigh in showing any skin.
Listen, Shanika Johnson, did she not weigh in with body paint?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she did.
I remember that one well.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like, listen, but that got people talking about her. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know she lost to Ellie Scotney, and rightly so. Ellie deserved to win it. But listen, boxing's a business now. It's
by the way, can we make this abundantly clear that I don't agree with that? I just know that's how it looks like it's going to go. And I knew Dad on that.
Hakan, you was about to jump in there. Give us your opinion, mate.
Beatrice Ferreira, I think, would face Caroline Dubois, even though they are on Boxer and Matchroom. I think that fight.
Is she a super featherweight, Aka? In Beatrice Ferreira super featherweight and Carolina lightweight?
No, Ferreira's moved up.
Yes.
See, I'm not excited by her at all.
She's all right.
Yeah, but they're all saying that she's a killer. Everyone's like, "Oh, she's an absolute monster, this girl." You know, I'm a bit jury's out on her. I think
that's what I was going to say. She's all right.
Caroline would deal with her, to be fair.
I think Caroline beats her, but then, to be honest, I think Caroline probably beats Rhiannon at the moment. So
yeah,
you know,
that was going to be my next question, Jack. That was going to be my next question. You know, if they do both win this, the relevant fights, relevant titles, and they do make this unification, do you make Caroline Dubois favourite then?
Yeah, not massive, not huge, massive favourite, but I still make her favourite. Yes. I don't believe that. I don't believe that that Dubois would ever avoid the fight either. I think Dubois would have been quite happy to take the fight now, but I just think it's a much bigger fight for a world title. I do make Dubois a slight favourite in it, just amateur pedigree and things like that play into it as well.
Caroline Dubois' skill level is ridiculous. The only thing that stops her winning everything from everybody right now is experience.
Yeah, and Rhiannon doesn't have a load of experience, so that's why I think she beats her. The thing that Caroline's lacking isn't something that Dixon has.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, moving swiftly on because I'm looking at the time. We're moving on pretty swiftly here. 2 more fights I want to talk about. Another one that's just been made. Very interesting, this. Florian Marku, Chris Congo. Now, Florian Marku is a bit Marmite. He's one of these fighters that you either really like his antics, you really like he's quite an aggressive kind of figure, or you don't. Daz, I'll come to you first on this one. I think this is a great matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I like Florian, to be fair. I get what you mean. He's a bit of an acquired taste to some people, but yeah, I like him. I think he's a decent person. I just don't think he stands any shit.
No, you're right. Yeah.
I think if he feels disrespected, he'll stand up for himself. Listen, 100% maybe he goes about something sometimes the wrong way. Maybe, 100% he gets a bit too, spiky. But listen, what you see is what you get. I don't think there's any airs and graces with him. I think on general, I think he's an all-round decent fella, to be fair, from what I've heard.
So,
it's a good
Darren,
fight.
Darren, Chris Congo's obviously got a lot to prove coming off of the Echo Esserman loss.
Yeah.
Is Darren still with us?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
He froze.
No, I'm here.
Chris Congo's still got a lot to prove, hasn't he, mate? He's going on about he believes he's the best welterweight in the country. He lost to Echo Esserman. I think that was a fair decision. Do you see the winner of this going on and fighting for say European title?
Yeah, I think it's a very good fight actually. I'm very interested to see how they actually go with this. I mean, where they're going to actually stage it. I've seen that they're going to go to Wolverhampton for it, which is not far from me. But I think I think it's a good fight, but I think it's more probably better suited to an undercard rather than a main event. Is that being unfair? I don't know.
Jack,
it would.
Agree,
a co-main would make more sense than a main.
Yes, Jack. Do you believe Tyler Denny will be main event for this one?
What's that, Akan? Sorry.
Who's Denny fighting? I have
Tyler Denny will be main event for this one, defending European.
Who's he defending against, though?
That's not announced, and
yeah, I think that they might hold off, and depending who Denny's defending against, you could be right there. He might end up being the main event.
It's actually a real good step up for Marco, really, with who Congo's fought. I do expect it to be quite an explosive fight, but I don't think Marco's that powerful, but he's tough. And I'm a bit on the fence with him. I think we'll win this one, like you say, because of the Esserman loss for Congo. I think it'll go to points, and I'll probably favour just Congo. Probably.
How do you see winning this?
I see Congo later rounds, or maybe points decision. But I'm very curious about Tyler Denny's fight on this card. So I think Tyler Denny sells a lot of tickets in Midlands. So I think Tyler Denny could be the main event, and he has posted fight news very soon. So
that makes sense then.
Yeah, and I chatted very briefly with Tyler Denny in Liverpool.
That'll be a decent card then, really. Wolverhampton.
So
yeah, you're just saying that because it's in your back garden.
No, it's not really that. It's about half an hour, 25 minutes away, something like that.
All right. I was thinking we were all coming round to yours for dinner.
No.
Whereabouts you from, Daz?
Great bar in Birmingham.
Oh yeah.
Okay, for some reason in my head you were from Wolverhampton, so that's why.
No.
We've been to East Side Rooms a few times in Birmingham. As a venue.
Oh yeah.
For a couple of shows.
Yeah,
it's really
I
nice
heard
venue.
it. Yeah,
really nice venue.
Officially,
There's some
I've been
good ones,
matchmaker
actually.
on 2 shows there, but I've never actually been.
Yeah, it's a nice venue.
Yeah, there's some
Guys,
good
one
ones in
last fight I want to.
Go on then.
One last fight I want to pick up on, guys, and that's this weekend.
Oh yeah.
And that is John
Right,
Ryder,
fight.
Ali Munguia. It's an absolute brilliant fight. Darren, seeing as though you spoke first,
Yep.
you can go first, mate.
I expect a war in this, like most people. John Ryder, you know, he was absolute warrior in the Canelo fight. And when you look at like Canelo and Munguia, like, you know, they're not similar fighters, but like, can I see Munguia stopping John Ryder if Canelo couldn't? Probably not. But when it goes to the final decision, I think it's going to be a very, very, very close fight, and I think it could be a split either way. But if you want me to pick a winner, I'd probably go Munguia or get a decision because where it is.
Daz, you can argue John Ryder, out of all the British fighters that have gone up against Canelo in recent times, you can argue John Ryder's had the best attempt.
Yeah, he did really well. I mean, to be fair, listen, we're talking. I'm being hypercritical here, and and it were obviously earlier in Canelo's career, but Matthew Hatton did a good job as well.
Yeah, he did.
That's who my mind jumped to be fair. When
Hatton,
you said,
yeah, listen, Matthew Hatton did a good job. Ryan Rose did a decent job until
It was early in the career of Canelo though as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think Ryder's done the best job of a Brit since Matthew Hatton, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking, obviously Canelo's he's probably a more complete fighter now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd have to say that Ryder's probably done the best against him. But I just
how do you see him faring against Munguia
then? I don't, mate. If I'm honest, I think it's going to be a war, like Darren said. But I think it's going to be one of them where Munguia will probably win it wider than he deserves on scorecards.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think it'll be a close fight. And I think if it's scored correctly, with no bias, maybe, it will probably be a split either way. But I think this will probably be scored by 4 or 5 rounds to Munguia. And we're all saying maybe Munguia did deserve the nod, but probably not by that margin.
For how many fights? Go on. I was going to say, for how many fights Munguia's had, would you say this is his toughest opponent so far, or would you say it was Devrachenko? Because when you look at the amount of fights he's had, is this his toughest opponent yet?
Yes. Which is
what I think you could argue it is.
Considering the weight it's at, yes.
Yeah.
I will watch it live if I feel better on Saturday.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get up and watch it as well, mate. I think it's a brilliant fight. John Ryder does not get the credit he deserves. He's been in some real tough fights, Antti, and he's come second best, but only slightly in certain fights. I mean, you can argue he won the Callum Smith fight and just didn't get the decision.
Yeah.
The Rocky Fielding fight was close. Billy Joe Saunders, I think, went to points as well. If I'm not mistaken, at middleweight, the only person that's actually devastatingly stopped him, was Nick Blackwell. I mean, I don't know what happened in the build-up to that fight, but it was a different John Ryder that night.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. That were early-ish in Ryder's career as well.
It was.
He's arguably... Listen, Nick Blackwell could bang as well, to be fair.
Yeah, he could, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
So arguably...
in 2015, that fight was in 2015.
It was a long while ago, Hakan, you're right, yeah.
And I was at the O2 on that card. and I couldn't believe that Ryder has been after 2015 after that fight.
I can. Have you bought your house or do you rent it?
No, do you mean here in Sweden?
Yeah. Have you bought
No,
it or do you
I rent it.
Yeah. Well,
I think what Daz is trying to say, Hacken, is you're never there.
You're wasting your money. Why don't you buy an house in England?
But
I said
if I
that.
had been in Jack's age and know that England is in the EU, I might have tried it.
Yeah, I know.
You need to buy one in Sheffield. You need to buy a house in Sheffield.
Yeah. Food, yeah, if you buy a house in Sheffield, you can come and see us at gym.
Yeah, it's the gym in Sheffield.
Yes, mate. Yeah, Answorth.
That week, I could come to the gym when I'm there for the Dalton Smith. I'm there 3 days from Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah, you're going to the GBM show.
Yeah, that's the week, the month before. But on the GBM, I will arrive on fight day. But
Yeah.
On Harper and Dalton Smith, I will be there 3 days.
Yeah,
so,
well, you have to drop me a message. Drop me a message.
Yeah, I put you a message to you that week.
Yeah,
guys, I don't want to break up this loving, but we're halfway through doing the show here.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry.
It's all right. They're just like I'm loving. I've made 2 fights while they've been chatting. It's great.
Listen,
No, I'm not even joking. I have actually done that.
Jack, you need to be having a word with promoters about Hakan because this guy spends a lot of his hard-earned money coming over, supporting British fighters when he's not even British. Let's be right.
100%, mate.
But you have to understand one thing that UK is like a second home for me.
Yeah, listen.
But you're still doing something you don't have to do, Hakan.
Give you some credit, mate. So, Jack, you need to reach out to some promoters, right? And so listen, I think we need to give this guy a bit of recognition and give him a ticket.
Yeah.
Nice
we need to do that, actually.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah.
Very much.
I need to.
So
do you know the good thing is? Sorry, Andy. The good thing is he's not just coming over for these big fights.
He's coming over for everything.
Small all shows as well.
Yes, dead right, mate.
I like the GBM a lot. So next GBM I purchase it through
the commitment that you've shown to boxing, Hakan, is outstanding. UK boxing, it's outstanding, mate.
Hakan, there's something I can't say on here, but I'll message you after because there's a show I'm going to invite you to.
Thank you.
I won't go. It'll be shit.
Jack, let's just get back to this this prediction then. Although it's lovely talking about Hakan and praising him up, let's get back to what we were talking about, which is obviously the John Ryder Ali Munguia fight. Jack, let's have your breakdown.
I'm actually gonna buck the trend a bit here because I think Munguia's not really. Derevenchenko aside, right? Let's just take that out. But he's not really been in with anyone.
Wow! Come on, Jack, come on.
Who am I missing?
Really?
Who am I missing? There's obviously
Liam Smith.
Oh yeah. To be fair, I did actually forget that was a thing. But yeah, the
Rosado.
Liam Smith. Yeah, but I'm not overly impressed with him. But the Liam Smith one, sorry, I did actually forget that was a thing. But yeah, he's not been in with a lot of people like that are of the level that Ryder's been in with. I actually think I could see a thing if he can't get Ryder out of there. It's not like with Canelo where Canelo couldn't get him out of there and didn't panic. I can see a situation where Munguia ends up dropping rounds stupidly because he's frustrated and throws caution to the wind trying to get Ryder out of there and make a statement. just because of the way he fights. I can genuinely see Ryder winning this and either stopping Munguia or Munguia quitting on his stall.
I think that's how he would have to win to stop him.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's going to win on points, to be fair, mate.
Yeah.
Whether he wins on points or not, he's not getting it. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Munguia's got a very good ring IQ, and it's going to take something special from. It's going to take something special from John Ryder. My only question is he big enough for the weight, Munguia?
Yeah, that's another question because it's at super middle, isn't it? So he wasn't that big at the weight before.
No, well, that's my point. And
yeah.
I mean, obviously, he's angling for the big money fight, like everybody does. He's angling for Canelo. That's probably going to happen next if he wins this fight. I mean, why wouldn't you step out of your comfort zone, step out of your weight category, and make the big bucks? Because that's really the only way he's going to make that money into it is against that one man.
There's two potential fights for Canelo next. He's one, and the other one is just ridiculous. So I'm not even going to give it airtime on here.
Okay, so quick round robin then before we go, lads. Jack, come to you first. Predict the fight. I know you've kind of already done it, but give us a bang on prediction, please.
What do you want a round? Ryder 10th round.
Really? Okay. Hakam?
Munguia 9th round.
You think Munguia stops Ryder?
Yeah, he could do it, but could go to points too.
Okay, Daz?
I got Munguia points.
Same question to you then, Darren.
I'll go Munguia split decision.
So I'm thinking a very similar thing to Darren. I see it going to points. I don't think either of them have that knockout capability. If I'm being honest,
I don't think Ryder stops him with one punch. By the way.
No, but Ryder's got a lot of pressure on him. So I see where you're saying that stoppage could come.
That's what I'm talking about, not one punch. There's no way that.
I think I think Munguia's ring IQ will seem through the fight, and I think it's a points decision win to Munguia, and hopefully it's like Daz said earlier on. Hopefully it's scored properly and we get a proper result. But yeah, I mean. Either way, you've got to give John Ryder credit for the people he stepped in with throughout his career, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right, lads. It's been a brilliant show again. Lots of topics covered. It's always great having you boys on because you give really different, varying opinions from different angles, and that's what this show's all about. Thanks to everyone in the sidebar for your comments. We do this as anyone that watches the show regularly will know every single Thursday at 7:00. We sometimes go on a Saturday night after a fight card, but 7:00's our slot. Thursday, 7:00. Come and join us. Jump on the screen like the guys have, or comment in the sidebar. We'll read your comments out. Thanks for joining us. This has been Last Ball Boxing, proudly sponsored by LW Liftings and SC Travel, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, lads.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
But please don't wait.
He says trying to end the stream.
We'll still be streaming 2 days later.
Connections for you. That's the problem, isn't it?
You may as well stay on big time. You stop it. It'll be time for next week's show.
Oh, he's just shut himself off.